The Thunder are in huge trouble because the San Antonio Spurs just took Game 1, one of the greatest NBA games I've ever seen, with everything working against them, on the road against the defending champs who are 8-0 in these playoffs and just had a week off. Oh yeah, by the way, you don't have your starting point guard and second leading scorer either, and your game plan completely backfired in your face, yet it doesn't matter because of a generational performance from your 22-year-old that might be the best player in the world. And we'll break down what their game plan was defensively in a second in depth. But first, we got to talk about Victor Wembenyama because like I just said, he might be the best player in the world. Bro sees Chet on the same basketball court as him and just decides to level up. He's already elite. Last night, he was playing at an all-time MVP level. Just dunking on Chet every now and then whenever the ball bounces off the rim, then getting downhill and doing stuff like this. Just catching it and immediately going up. That's such a niche skill to have, but he's really, really good at it. And then right there, you try to guard him with a small guy and push him around. He's just going to bully you down low because he's stronger than he may look. Great footwork here. Just get out of my way, Chet. I'm going right up with that right hand because, well, I genuinely hate you. Then right here, throw it up and throw it down with one arm being held down, and then in clutch time, they go right to him, right like they did in that Timberwolves series. Again, 17.2 on the clock, 8 on the shot clock, and he just jab, spin, easy bucket because they have J-Dub on him and they're trying to be physical, but he can just shoot right over the top. 41 points, 24 rebounds, 3 assists and 3 blocks in 49 minutes. A crazy stat line. And people are going to look at this box score in like 15 years and be like, what in the world? He had 41 and 24? Caruso had 31? What? But yeah, he just decided to turn into Steph Curry right here and pull up from basically where he pulled up from in the iconic call back in 2016. Same spot, same result. Unfortunate for Thunder fans, but then just getting right downhill. Chet doesn't even want a piece of that at the rim. Then again, you try to guard him with Caruso. He's going to half spin, fake him out, catch it, and go right up over Chet. And again, that's the problem when you want to put a smaller guy on him and have Chet be that free safety type guy that's just roaming around looking for blocks. Well, you end up with things like this. Just throw it up to the rim. Stephon Castle's looking for his big tight end in the red zone. And look at Chet. He's got to be out on Champagnie because Champagnie's a shooter. So it draws Chet out of the paint, doesn't allow him to come over and help. And Wemby just gets an easy dunk. And then right here, third block of the night, easy. Then that brings us to his running mate and his point guard, Stephon Castle, who at just 21 years old looks like an NBA veteran already, looks like a guy that's been through the fire and back, looks like a guy that's played in multiple NBA finals. But again, he's 21, and he contributed to maybe the craziest box score I've ever seen last night with 17 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, and 11 turnovers. He had a 1-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio and had 11 assists. Like, how is that possible? He was also 5 of 14 from the field, 1 of 6 from beyond the arc. Did kind of struggle with some of the perimeter pressure that OKC provides. But, again, that three-point shooting, just because he was 1 for 6 last night, he was still like 45% over the last 20 games of the regular season, getting downhill. And then right here just puts the MVP into the stanchion. My goodness. And when you see him load up to go off with 2 feet, I'd get out of the way. Now, I'm not in the NBA, but I'd get out of the way. Make a business decision there for the MVP. Then, again, he just looks up, finds Wemby at the rim. He's been playing great. And then Dylan Harper, man. We've said it before, but he's a 10-year vet trapped in a rookie's body. Maybe the strongest rookie guard to ever come out of college and immediately contribute at 20 years old. But with De'Aaron Fox out of the lineup, he's a guy that now had to play a lot. And when his number was called, he stepped up. He's been great all playoffs long, but the little step through right there, beautiful move, gets right to the rim. And then he sees Jared McCain, starts licking his chops and gets downhill and finishes with ease. 24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and 7 steals. Once again, contributing to what I think is probably the craziest box score I've ever read in my life. 8 of 20 from the field, 1 of 7 from beyond the arc, but he was still elite, including this clutch time bucket right here. Gets downhill, finishes at the rim. That's as good as it gets for a 20-year-old in his first playoff run. Apart from the big three from last night, the Spurs wings were great as well, including Devin Vassell, who probably played the best out of all of them. Hit a couple of clutch shots, got this block right there, walks into one to put them up by 10 heading into the break almost. And then right here, getting back to the mid-range. He's one of those mid-range savants, bringing it back. He finished with 13 points, 6 rebounds, and assists, 2 steals, and a block, and played 51 minutes in this double OT thriller. 5 of 12 from beyond the arc, 5 of 12 from the field, 3 of 9 from beyond the arc. Then here he is right here. Again, you can't have Chet help off. So Chet is playing this free safety role. As Wemby sets the screen and rolls, Chet is kind of helping over the top, so you can't just lob it into him. But again, they catch him napping, and they just swing it. One extra pass, finds Vassell for the 3-ball, and then give me that, Chet. We're taking those all day long. And again, they played without De'Aaron Fox, who would have taken a lot of the pressure off of Stephon Castle, who we just talked about with his 11 turnovers. Would have taken a lot of the pressure off Dylan Harper as just another ball handler and a guy that's been here before, although he's never been to a conference finals. He's been through the playoffs before. 18.6 points a game, 6.2 assists, and 3.8 rebounds in the regular season, shooting 49% from the field. Kind of takes a step back to let those younger guys progress, but he's still a dog. Don't get it wrong. And he's their second leading scorer. The Spurs just went out and won without him. So once he comes back, I mean, my goodness. And if he doesn't even play good, then they can just bench him and go with the two young guys. It's crazy. You also have Julian Champagnie here, who had a couple of big-time threes. And this one, again, what we just talked about, catching Chet sleeping because Chet wants to help over the top. Whenever Wemby rolls, look at him, slide in, and he's just going to leave a dead-eye sniper in the corner. There's nobody to help off of. If you're playing the Spurs, it's an active shooter zone because there's snipers everywhere. One more time for Keldon. And shout out to Mitch Johnson for making a great adjustment. So we see Caruso and J-Dub on Wemby a lot early, and Caruso, he played his butt off. He's one of the most pesky guards in the league. So what do? They go to this 77 action a ton, and what it is, it's 2 ball screens at the top of the key. The first one is going to be set by your shooter, who's going to pop. The second one is by the big, who's going to roll, and it's going to successfully get Caruso or J-Dub off of Wemby every single time and get him onto who they want. Now, this one's a little bit of a different variation. You see Cornette in the court. It looks like a little stagger to start off, but instead, Stephon Castle is just going to turn around and rescreen, making Jared McCain chase off the top of the screen, trying to get him to switch. They don't end up switching. It gets right into that 77 action, and now you've got SGA switched off and attacking the weaker defender in Jared McCain. Like I said, Dylan Harper licking his chops, getting downhill, just gets to his spot with ease. Then we see this again, and this time it's the 77 action one more time, and it accomplishes its goal. It gets Caruso off of Wemby, forces AJ Mitchell to slide all the way over, and leaves Keldon Johnson wide open in the corner. Now, if you made it this far in the video, hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button. As you can see here, 93% of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. Also, check out the college basketball version of this channel. Now, let's break it down. And so here's what we're talking about when we say that the Spurs defensive strategy completely backfired. So as you can see, they've got a Wemby on Caruso. This is the matchup. They want Wemby to play free safety. So anytime we see one of these screens coming, Wemby is here so he can take away all of this because he is probably the most impactful defender in NBA history. So Caruso's going to come set the screen. Doesn't happen. Dylan Harper plays great defense, but now Wemby, of course, is way back here. Not even really guarding Caruso because Caruso had a terrible year from 3 this year. So the Thunder swing it around. Shea drives now. As he drives, we've got Wemby just sitting right here waiting for him. Devin Vassell's chesting up Chet, keeping him out of harm's way, and he kicks it out, and Caruso knocks down a 3. That's not what they planned for. They want him to shoot threes, but not to the level that he did last night. This is what you were wanting if you're the Spurs, right? So once again, J-Dub comes off this screen. He's dribbling right at Wemby, and he's still got Harper right on his hip, and the other defenders don't even really have to help. Like, when Wemby's here, that's the bonus of having him. When he is your guy that's playing drop coverage, your other defenders don't even have to help. So there's not an outlet. There's not a skip pass because in a normal defensive rotation, Devin Vassell is going to slide over here. Champagnie is going to drop down here to take away Chet, and then you're kind of just left with Lou Dort here. Harper's kind of covering both him and then the guy that pops in a normal defensive scheme. However, Wemby is his own defensive scheme. So he takes away all of this down here, which leads to them just having to hit Caruso, and then Caruso ultimately turns the ball over. So once again, we see this high pick and roll, right? Carter Bryant's going to be in SGA's hip pocket. SGA is great about when he gets you on his hip, there's nothing really you can do. You're in jail because you're at the mercy of his bumps and his fadeaways, but Vic's right here, so he can't really get to that. Vassell's up early in this gap, but he's going to be able to recover very quickly if he needs to Jared. Honestly, overplaying a little bit too much, but as Wemby's here, he's going to leave Caruso because, again, the Spurs don't even rotate, right? When they see Wemby and drop, they don't even rotate. So this is something that the Thunder attacked a lot early on, and if Caruso goes 8 for 14, the Spurs might be out of luck. But the Thunder shot their best bullet with Caruso going 8 for 13 or whatever it was, 8 for 14 from 3. The Thunder might be in trouble because this was as good as they could have played, right? With Caruso hitting those threes. Not sure SGA didn't play well, but again, a large part of it is because of this. They've got Wemby here. We have, I believe that's Vassell stunting early off of McCain. Honestly, I don't love that stunt off of McCain, but, you know, it worked out because Keldon can still get here and then recover. But you have Wemby here who covers all of this pretty much. So as he stunts, SGA gets down low, and again, Wemby's just not even worried about Caruso, who just flies right up here to the open slot, and they kick it to him, and he knocks down another 3. Really kept him in it early on. Playoff career high by like 14 points. Now, the Thunder do have one adjustment to make, and as you can see here, they started to do it. Dagnall is a really good coach, so they started to do it. We got the high pick and roll here. SGA is going to refuse the screen, go right at Wemby. Make Wemby step. If they can get him in what we call the thirds of the court here, so you got this third, and this third. So if you can keep it in a third of the court with just the 4 guys, being SGA and whoever's guarding SGA, and then Wemby and Caruso, you can open up stuff like this, which is as SGA drives, Wemby has to help, and there's no rotation to come over to pick up Caruso. It leaves him wide open. We saw him do it earlier in the middle third of the court. Now they do it in this third of the court, and it leaves him wide open for a 3-ball. Still a good contest by Wemby, but that's something I think we will see the Spurs start to do a lot of. They do it again right here. It gets kind of cut off, but SGA drives in and finds Caruso in that corner. And this could be a problem because we see it again right here with SGA just going to attack it downhill and find Caruso, but the Spurs are willing to play these odds. Because, yes, he shot 8 for 14 last night. He's not going to shoot 8 for 14 every night. He shot 34% from 3 in the regular season. Actually, I just double-checked and I lied. He shot 29% from 3 this year. But this is what the Thunder were doing. They're attacking Wemby in this third of the court. Terrible lines, goodness gracious. My third-grade art teacher would be pissed. But as he attacks here, he's going to attack Wemby and kick it right to Caruso. But again, the Spurs are going to play these odds because he shot 29% from 3 this year. And it really feels like everything was stacked against the Spurs. You know, you don't have your second option. Caruso hits 8 threes, playing right against your game plan. It explodes in your face and you still win. That's a huge dub. Spurs might win this one in 5. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.